Hey everyone, it's Nick with Us versus Herd. Today we're going to be looking at what the stock market potentially could do. What are the expectations if Russia goes against Ukraine and goes to war with Ukraine or invades Ukraine? But first, if you want to get involved with the UVH community, links are below in the description to our Discord and our options trading group on Facebook. And I would definitely appreciate it if you could hit the like button. Now today was crazy in the stock market, and we expect that to continue, where there's a whole lot of just mixed information and we don't know who's playing what game, right? Everyone's playing a different game in this. The US, Russia, Ukraine, and this morning what came out was they believe that diplomacy could be the way. Putin said he would agree to talk and blah, blah, blah. And then later this afternoon, Ukraine came out and said, hey, we expect that it's going to happen. There's going to be an invasion on Wednesday. We are declaring this, invasion day. And, that's where it was. And the stock market was up this morning. And then in the afternoon when those comments came, it took a dip. So, take everything with a grain of salt. We don't know what's going to happen, because after that happened, then they said, oh, he was just kidding. He didn't actually mean they were going to invade on Wednesday, right? So we don't know what's going on. Could happen, could not happen. We don't know. I mean, we're just civilians. We don't have all the intel. We don't have all the data. So everyone just relax. I mean, I think right now swinging positions is definitely going to be very risky to either side, as we saw today. I mean, we had longs winning in the morning, shorts winning in the afternoon, and then we had it climb back up when Ukraine started to take back those comments. So we don't know. This is a game that they are playing, it seems. The media, grabs hold and they're like, we want to know, the people want to know. And, in the media, it's just like whoever gets the first click, right? They don't really care what happens. And then, they report on the mistake and just see what happens, right? So going into the charts, I mean, we're at some critical levels here. I'll first look at the NASDAQ. I mean, the NASDAQ, one of the things that we've been watching on the NASDAQ is this 200-day moving average. It tested it 4 times. It's definitely failed. It definitely failed now. We're below the 10-day as well. About 15,000. We need about 15,000 on the NASDAQ to get back above the 200-day moving average. Now, as you saw today, if something does happen, I do think that this decline is going to be much worse. And of course, this is my own opinion. This is not investment advice by any means, but this is just kind of what I'm looking at. I mean, even without it, we can't get above the 200-day here. We can't get above the 200-day moving average on the NASDAQ. I mean, we're in trouble. We're definitely in trouble today. I mean, and today was just violent. I mean, we had a nice uptick, all morning. Then those comments came out, and then they took them back and then started to swing back up. But NASDAQ barely closed green. Dow and S&P were red. Now, let's look at the S&P. S&P was actually doing, one of the best performing out of all of them during this decline here. And we're just looking at it. And today, S&P closed below the 200-day moving average. Second day in a row that it closed below the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average is at 4,446. And we didn't think in 2022 we would be thinking about closing below the 200-day moving averages, but hey, here we are. And again, I do think no matter what happens, I mean, if there is a war or an invasion, it could take the domino effect. A lot of people are saying if Russia invades Ukraine, China could invade Taiwan, and it's a mess. It's a mess. And I don't think the market is prepared. I mean, the market right now is trying to price in rate hikes, not really a war. Not really a war. And then as things come around and news comes out, as you can see, we just straight nosedive every single time. So I do think we have to be very cautious here. I mean, S&P below the 200-day, not good. Dow, let's take a look at the Dow. Dow again, kind of like the S&P. It was holding on. It was holding on. And then last 2 days, it just can't get above. So like for me personally, I don't know about you. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. But for me personally, it's hard for me to go long if we're staying under the 200-day. Sure, we have bounces, intraday bounces that you could play and stuff like that. But if you're swinging long and we're under the 200-day moving average, I mean, it's hard to swing calls. It's hard to swing calls. You could do it, but it's definitely hard. One of the things that I'm looking at right here is especially on the NASDAQ, where the 50-day could death cross with the 200-day. So right now, this gold line right here is the 50-day. Coming down into the 200-day, as you can see, it is declining pretty rapidly. The longer that we stay below the 200-day, the more likely that this is going to happen, that this is going to death cross. Now, if we can get a major pump, I mean, we're not, it looks like we're far off, but the way the market has been moving, we're really not that far off from it pumping above the 200-day. However, the odds are against, especially with this, Russia-Ukraine news. And then we have the Fed. The Fed had an emergency meeting this morning, and we don't know what that was about yet. We haven't had any rate hikes yet. We didn't have an emergency rate hike, but we did have Bullard this morning come out and say, hey, we want 100 basis points by July, right? Where the market was pricing in 50 basis points. So we don't really know. I think the Fed is going to want to get aggressive, but at the same time, I do think that this is the pregame. This is the warm-up. A lot of people think just because we went down, this is priced in. Right now, the Fed has not done a single thing yet. We don't know if they're going to do 25 basis points, 50 basis points at a time, 100 basis points. We don't know if they're going to do 75 this time, 25 next time. We don't know, but we do know CPI came back at 7.5%, and they're getting aggressive. They're wanting to get aggressive. At least Bullard, that's what he says. The Fed's reputation is on the line, but right now, the Fed has done nothing. They have done nothing. They're not that scared yet, right? So, I think January was rough. Now, February, we're kind of limping along here, but it's not looking good. I mean, it kind of looks like we had a bear flag and it's starting to break down. That's kind of what it looks like, across the board. You have the Russell. The Russell has been just getting demolished here. I mean, it's way below the 200-day moving average, it's below the 50-day moving average. And back on July 14th, January 19th. On January 19th, the 50-day and the 200-day did have a death cross on the Russell. So, I guess we'll kind of see what happens, but right now I would advise extreme caution. Be careful if you're using margin. Make sure you're using stop losses. A lot of people don't use stop losses, especially if you're trading futures. Use a stop loss. As we can see today, like anything can happen. I mean, if we looking at the 1 minute chart, look at the 1 minute chart right here. I mean, I want to look at the NASDAQ. Sorry. On the NASDAQ, on the 1 minute chart, this literally pumped over 100 points in 2 minutes, right in here. Two minutes. So if you're trading futures or trading anything right now and you're shorting or going long, make sure you use a stop loss. Because this is going to be violent. This is very, very, very violent. So we're in unprecedented times right now. A lot is at risk, not only capital, but for the world. So trade safe. I hope everyone stays safe, especially in Russia and Ukraine. And I pray nothing happens. But as a trader, we also have to prepare that if something does, how to protect ourselves in the market. So if you watch this video to the end, hit the like button, comment below, let me know you watched to the end. And as always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.